Crom, I've never prayed to you before. I have no tongue for it. Valor pleases you, so grant me one request. Grant me a third Conan movie. Grant me King Conan. And if you do not listen to this, then the hell with you.
Hey folks, Kilt-Man here, Kilt-Man at your services. And not only Kilt-Man, we have a cameo appearance by Jeff Goldblum because there is a fly buzzing around here right now. And I tell you what, if he comes much closer, he'll be skewered. Folks, where's King Conan? What's going on with this? How many years have they been banging on about making a final Arnold Schwarzenegger Conan movie? Loads. Way too many years. I mean, even like back end of last year, so that'll be the end of 2021, Arnie was tweeting, "We're almost ready, it's there, we have the script, it'll be great to see it all come together again." You know, the old magic. Only in Arnold Schwarzenegger's voice. Not whatever the hell that was. That was like Russell Crowe doing Arnold Schwarzenegger's voice. But yeah, John Milius wrote a script for King Conan ages ago. John Milius, of course, directed the original Conan from 1982. So 40 years ago, the original Conan the Barbarian. The Austrian oak, Arnie Schwarzenegger, made his name. And it's a fantastic movie. Then we had Richard Fleischer a few years later for Dino De Laurenti with Conan the Destroyer, which is bloody downright enjoyable. And where's the third movie? You know, Arnie's still busy making more Terminator bloody bullshit. Like, do what everybody really wants. And they don't want any more Terminator movies. They want Conan! So, where do we stand with this right now? We had the reboot with Jason Momoa, which, who directed that? Was that Marcus Nispel? Something like that. And it was a pile of poo. A pile of old barbarian bollocks. But Momoa is fantastic as Conan the Barbarian. He is, and I'd like to see him take on the role again. But I definitely want Arnold Schwarzenegger to reprise the role. He wants to do it. John Milius wants to do it. Milius is now 78, I think. And Paul Verhoeven was once attached to it. Can you imagine that? Paul Verhoeven, who did Flesh and Blood, RoboCop, Starship Troopers, Total Recall. Can you imagine him and Arnie back together for a final outing of Conan? The blood carnage slaughter fest that would be. Be amazing. But I don't think we're going to get that either. Arnie has said that this is going to happen, but whether it's going to be a movie, or it's going to go straight to one of those streaming platforms like Netflix or whatever else. There's loads of them out there. Amazon Prime. And the time has never been more right to bring back the Cimmerian Barbarian, because you've got Game of Thrones prequel coming out, House of Dragons. You've got Willow. Willow is coming back. Willow? What? No, I mean, I've told you the little story, and it is a little story because it involves Warwick Davis, of meeting Warwick Davis at a film fair, or was it Comic-Con? One of the things anyway. And I did tell you this story a while ago. I was working there, me and my friend Lee Van Keith had a stall selling Star Wars figure stands. And in a break from that, I've gone round all of the stalls, and there was a great big massive video, DVD, Blu-ray emporium. No, there was no Blu-rays around at the time, it was just DVDs. And a lot of American imports. And I was going through them all, it was great. And it was like table after table after table, it was full. And there was a lot of people there. And I was moving down, you know, all these boxes and going through everything. Oh, I'll have this, I'll have this, I'll have this. Yeah, nice one. And then I reached an object which was in my way. I couldn't see it because people were all around, and I nudged into it. And I thought, what's that? So I actually kneed it out the way. And when I looked down, it was little Warwick Davis. I mean, that hardly a way to treat a celebrity, is it? By kneeing him in the back. But little Warwick Davis was there. Oh, I'm so sorry, I'm sorry. I didn't see it, I'm so sorry. And he was like, it's all right, it's all right. And then his little hand was the American Collector's Special Edition of Willow on DVD. And he had cash in the other hand. And I said to the guy behind the stall, I said, no way on earth are you going to charge him for his own movie. He's the star of that movie. And I said, to this day, I'm not sure if he did pay for it or not. I think he probably did. Warwick, you haven't been in touch for ages. I know you've been busy filming Willow, haven't you? But let me know if you paid for that. Doesn't seem right to me. I mean, the film company George Lucas should have sent you a copy of it anyway. You know what? That's mightily wrong, that is. So, anyway, my Atlantean Sword, of course. I long to see this in Arnie's hands again, wielded with the big kingly beard that he has. Now, as I say, he has said it can go to a movie, it can go to Netflix, it can be a TV show. And the big budgets for TV shows now are so lavish. I mean, how many Star Wars bloody offshoots are you going to have? You've got Cobra Kai, you've got loads of things. There'll probably be a Top Gun spin-off TV series. So Conan really, really lends himself to that sort of format as well. A weekly show, an episodic show, a binge-worthy show, big production values, and R-rated, of course. Make it not for the kids, because Conan shouldn't be for the kids. There's ample material there. I mean, just for the sake of example, well, there's Robert E. Howard's original collection of short stories, and I've got the longer novels as well. And of course, I have gazillions, if not all, of the Savage Sword of Conan and the fantastic Conan Omnibus ones from a few years later. Oh my God, they are fabulous stuff. And I've got millions of these. Now, I know detractors will always say, well, isn't every single story just involving a beautiful buxom wench, an evil magician, a horrible cult, some kind of giant outsized snake or spider or gorilla, and lots of goons for Conan to slice and dice with his mighty sword? Yeah, pretty much so. But within that, it's a broad canvas, and you've got so many electrifying characters. And yes, a lot of cults, a lot of temples, a lot of defiling of these weird ancient, monasteries and what have you. And Conan's going to come unstuck. Conan will become a leader of armies. He'll fight for kingdoms, and then he'll disappear again. He'll become a pirate for a good number of years. You'll have adventures across the Black Coast and all this. But even with that sort of very obvious episodic nature, it's perfect. It's perfect material, And Game of Thrones, with all the intrigue that had, and the blood and carnage and sexuality, you could bring some of the intrigue from that, and you've already got ample sexuality and violence with Conan, but just have a bit more depth to the stories. There's great writers out there, and Conan is a fabulous character, which is very, very worthy of being retold, readdressed, reappraised again and again and again. I'm not saying that Arnie could do a long sort of TV show, but he could do a 6 to maybe 8 episode version. Of course he could. And obviously a movie, that would be even better. A big screen movie to really, because he's old now, and of course the prophecy that he was going to become, a king, he'd wear the crown of Aquilonia upon a troubled brow. And you see him at the end of Conan the Barbarian, enigmatically sitting on the throne, like that. Troubled brow, crown sort of on there, beard. Yeah, that's what we want to see. There is actually a few comic books which are just called King Conan, and it's telling of his twilight years. Oh, he's still battling, don't you worry about that. Because there's always wars, there's always enemies, and he's always up for a scrap. So, make this happen. Please make this happen. King Conan. Arnie, the biggest star in the world. Well, he was. He still wants to do this. He's not getting any younger, folks. So get on with it. He's perfect age. Looks great. He got back into shape for this, didn't he? Because this was all meant to be happening. There was all momentum was being gathered. And then nothing. Obviously, if things are still going on, then and someone knows, let me know, because I haven't got a clue. I keep hearing little snippets, and I know Arnie keeps tweeting stuff. He's like Stallone as well. I mean, the two of them compete in everything, don't they? They're competing in tweeting, So, if Sly can keep churning out Rambo movies, and people are still willing to go and see him, well, I am. Even though the last one was a load of shite. I love Stallone. But Arnie as Conan, oh, come on. There's always talk of making Commando 2. Matrix so old. People still want to see Arnie come back to the Predator franchise, even if it's just a walk-on cameo at the end, you know. Not bad, kid. Not bad, you know. Whatever. But Conan, there's enough meat on the bones of that character, and Arnie knows that character inside out. He gave a bloody big speech, didn't he, after the riots on Capitol Hill, the storming of the Senate and all that. And he had the sword with him, and he was going, "Biden, I'm here for you whenever you need me." Don't go supporting Biden. Jesus, don't support any politician. Every politician should receive the business end of this, as far as I'm concerned. Except for you, Arnie. I know you were quite political in your day as well. But please, let's get another Conan movie made. And if it's successful, then take it to TV show. Of course you can. I mean, the idea is always going to be that he'll pass the baton on to, you know, son of Conan. I don't know. But I would love to see a big Arnie Conan final movie under the title of King Conan, preferably, although Legend of Conan was being mooted for quite some time. I think that's what Milius wrote the script under that title, I think, Legend of Conan. And but then, if it's a TV show, after the Arnie movie, bring Momoa back. Momoa's magnificent. It's just the film that he was in. It was dire. It was garbage. And yet it covered most of the same sort of ground that you want to see in, you know, a Conan movie. It was just so ineptly handled and so badly written. Jesus. I mean, it hasn't got to be Shakespeare, has it? Who the hell wants Shakespeare anyway? I'm looking at you, Kenneth Branagh, because I know you do. But Conan's not meant to be highly literate. The original movie is a treatise on old school, archaic machismo. To be bold, to be big, to be great, to be remembered, you know, for valor. Even Valhalla, because it's pretty much the same sort of thing. I mean, Robert E. Howard wrote Conan, based on Norse legends, Greek legends, and Irish hero folklore as well. So, you know, it's all, there's different gods, there's all sorts of things happening. It's blood and thunder, snot and super violence, but glory is there, you know. And we've just had Robert Eggers with The Northman, and The Northman, which I didn't rate anywhere nearly as highly as I'd hoped to. I know I've covered it before. It covers pretty much the Conan story anyway, even though it's based on the original. See, Shakespeare comes back into this. It's based, Shakespeare did Hamlet. Hamlet was based on the tale of Amlet, or Amleth, who was a Norse warrior who wanted revenge and inveigled himself into the family and the kingdom of his enemies, and took years to bring about his revenge upon them. And the Northman is basically the same story that Conan is as well. Orphaned as a child, wanting revenge for what's happened to his parents and all this. Like, oh God, yeah. So it's been done to death anyway. But like with Spider-Man, like with Batman, we don't need an origin story. We all know who this guy is. So if you make King Conan, there's no need for any sort of, you know, retelling of how he came to be. Just start it right there. We're right immediately in the middle of a new conflict for him. And we know who this big brawny guy is with the big grey beard. Yeah, it's me. Yeah, because look at this. This is coming on. If I grew that a bit longer, then, you know, and with the crow's feet I'm developing, that could be midlife crisis Conan in a kilt. Could work. I think it could work. But yeah, so guys, if you're privy to what's happening currently with Conan, please comment below and let this guy know, because I'm a massive fan of Conan. I've got some other bits and bobs which I'll show you one day, but I do love that. I've done videos on this sword, and I've said before that the sword is massively wrong, because it's either too short or too fat. And to see it wielded by Arnie, it's too small for someone Arnie's size. So if that blade was longer, it would be better. Or if it was this this length, but actually not as chunky, it would be better as well. It's a weird design, but I love it. I absolutely adore this sword. Anyway, folks, there you go. And if you've got, as I say, you've got so much Star Wars coming out. Fantasy is still huge. It's still huge. You've still got Marvel. Marvel had the rights to Conan, but Marvel no longer have the rights to Conan. So what that could mean, I'm not too sure what that means, to be perfectly honest with you, because Marvel is with Disney now, aren't they? So Disney, if Disney got the House of Mouse got their mitts on Conan, Jesus Christ, I pity that, but they've got the money, haven't they? So I don't know who's got the rights to it now. The rights must revert back after a certain amount of time, I think. Sorry, that looks a bit weird. You're probably wondering what that arm's doing. I'm twizzying that round. That still looks rude, doesn't it? I'll put that out the way. It's getting too risky wielding that. So I don't know who owns the rights to it now, but clearly Arnie still thinks this could happen, and I really, really want it to happen. If you think Conan, there's still life in the old Sumerian's bones, then let me know. And if you think he's had his day, then also let me know. Oh, and if you haven't, please subscribe. Keep a big whiskey-swilled smile on my face. And in the meantime, in this ever barbaric in-between time, please keep it Celtic, keep it Celtic. And I'm going to see you all later. Run! Go! Get to Cimmeria!